Yo, what's up? Welcome to Numbers with Jacari. I'm your host, Jacari, but you can call me Ace. And in this episode, we're talking about the number six's experience in 2024. So if you have a psychic 6, meaning you're born on the 6th, the 15th, or the 24th, or you're being born even on the 16th or even the 26th, this can resonate with you. Also, destiny/life path number 6s, name number 6s, and even if you have a personal 6 year. So I would recommend checking out my intro to numerology guide to get not only a in-depth meaning of all numbers 0 through 9, but also learn how to calculate your personal year in each and every system. And also check out my free Finding Your Chart guide, which helps you calculate your psychic destiny and name number so you know exactly what to look for in regards to all of these episodes, because we're going on over all the numbers, which I still recommend you check out all the episodes so you can get a nice thorough look into 2024 for every number's experience. And you do have specifically a lot of shared experiences with the number 5, so I'd recommend checking out that episode as well. But if you're liking what you're hearing, share it on your socials and tag me at Numbers with Jacari on Instagram or TikTok. And I do provide services, so if you want more personal guidance, definitely check that out. All direct links are in the description of this episode. But let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, the number 6 has some shared experiences with the number 5, so I want you to go check that out. But before you even do that, let's talk about you a little bit. So the number 6, in regards to its relationship with the number 8, is one that is very physical. Both of these numbers are connected to materialism and things that are tangible, very much so. 6 is ruled by Venus and Jupiter. It's very creative and artistic and passionate and sensual and intimate and very relationship focused, love focused, indulgent, and sensory focused, pleasure focused energy. And then you have Saturn being more of this structure, this stability, this power. And that's a very big theme for 8 this year and for everybody who's experiencing this universal 8 year. So one of the biggest interactions that I see between 6 and 8, not only in that materialism, and also that physical game, but also the financial impacts. So that is one of the biggest themes for the number 6 is this year is financial impacts. Now I say impacts specifically because it can go good or bad. It can go both ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that automatically you're going to become a millionaire overnight or even win the lottery, but those things are possible, but they're possible for everybody. So there's just financial impacts of, I would recommend you very much build your knowledge around finances and also understanding around what your money is doing, bank accounts, accountants, investing, saving, all of those things. I would really recommend you get your money things together this year, just so you have a clear idea of what is going on in your finances and don't get tripped up too much, especially because of 8's connection to the legal system this year. So that being a very big theme, I would say get those things in order, and also go check out my universal 8-year episodes. I have a couple of those that would be very beneficial for you to check out. Now I also do have an emphasis for you on confidence and specifically social spaces. So this is in line, this is on person, this is in the checkout line at the grocery store. This is social experiences and social spaces and your confidence and how you show up in those spaces. I know it's becoming very, very big for people to not show their faces online of, oh, you don't need to, this is a faceless business, or you don't have to da-da-da-da. I feel like people are leaning more into physical connection. So this isn't me to say that if you do have a faceless business or brand that you have to suddenly show your face. No, but it encourages you to be confident enough to show your face if you so choose, or if you're put in that position, because you might find yourself getting a little bit more social attention or even public eye experiences. 6 and 8 are both connected to fame in a sense. And this also ties into the number 3 a little bit as well. Which we already did talk about. So I want you to go listen to that episode as well. But I want you to make sure that you're allowing yourself to be confident in who you are and everything that you embody within yourself, so that when these people come and say, oh, you're this, you're that, and the third, you can look within and know whatever is true and whatever is false. And you're not so much influenced or thrown off your game in regards to how you show up within yourself and how you show up in your personality and everything that you embody, because you deserve to experience a beautiful life, and I want you to experience that. And some of that, it requires boundaries, which is another big theme for this year, because 8 does rule over boundaries. But the thing about 6 is it loves to indulge, it loves to feel good, and sometimes setting boundaries isn't that comfy. It doesn't feel that great. It requires you to say no sometimes. It requires other people to say no to you. It requires things to sometimes not go exactly how you want it, the way that you want it, as soon as you want it. So the theme around boundaries is really much highlighted in not only you setting boundaries, but also people setting boundaries with you, and also being able to respect those boundaries because of 8's connection to respect. So how are you respecting your own boundaries is something that I would bring up this year for you. Are you really honoring what you need and what you would gain support from and gain stability within yourself, and also the relationships that you cater to. This also brings up, in regards to relationships, the boundaries that you have with those people that you're in close proximity to, because intimacy is something that's natural for the number 6, and this is further than just romantic intimacy or sexual intimacy. This is emotional and mental and energetic and spiritual intimacy as well. So to asking yourself, how are you showing up in these spaces, and do you actually like the experience? Are you enjoying the experience? Because enjoyment is another thing that comes up for the number 6. So I really want you to be honest with yourself this year about what you need, what you want, what you desire, because you deserve to deserve to be catered to, and also create those spaces for yourself. So this also brings up routine for you, of what routines do you have in place, or are you lacking routines altogether? Do you do well on routines, or do you not do well on routines? Now, I will say one of the biggest suggestions that I have for you is building yourself a care routine. And I don't say necessarily self-care routine. I want just a care routine of how can you be cared for. And this especially in regards to overthinking, anxiety, depression, just everything, and especially mental spaces, and also spiritual and social spaces. How can you be cared for, and how can you care for yourself? And then how can the people in your life show up for you? This requires you to have clear communication with the people that you want, who you have in your space, and also what you want from them. So the expectations are clear, so that people aren't getting confused of, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for. I've made this clear. This is what I'm looking for. If you can't provide that, okay, so be it. And if you can provide it, let's work towards actually making this come in the way that I'm looking for it to happen. So having those conversations around whatever care you need are very, very crucial, especially the ones that you have with yourself. Because 6 can be a little bit more reliant on other people, which nothing is wrong with that. I do still want you to be able to take care of yourself in the ways that you need and desire that care. So again, that highlights that honesty with self. This also ties into that structure and that depth of the structures being those routines, and also your experience with structure of, okay, how much fluidity do you need and how much structure do you need? Because for one person, it might be a 60-40, other people, it might be a 70-30. It can go a lot of different ways. It might be 10-90, whatever it is, and also some other random blends of numbers. Whatever you need to give yourself a clear structure and a clear idea, and also a level of clarity within your needs, within your wants, and within your desires, to be able to build whatever you're trying to create for yourself, especially with the public eye being so emphasized for you this year. And the public eye doesn't necessarily always mean on a very large scale. It can, but it's not inherent, so is what I will say. So there's also an emphasis on authority figures and your trust and faith within them. So this also brings up the justice system and the legal system and the law enforcement as well, but also politicians, royalties also in there, of just, okay, how much do I actually trust that you can take care of me the way that I need you to take care of me? The government's also in there, if I didn't say that one. Those things are very much highlighted for you this year, of your trust and your faith in those spaces, and also what you can do to change them if you don't really like what's going on. So paying attention to those things, but there's also going to be some difficulties in there in regards to trusting yourself, imposter syndrome, general and social anxiety, uncertainty, instability, are all very big themes for you this year. In regards to trusting yourself, this is why I want you to be more honest with yourself this year, of what do you need to change, what needs to alter, what needs to stay the same, and what do you truly need and desire for yourself, and be able to cultivate that space for you. Now, on a numerological side, this is something that I definitely do for my clients and my mentees, and that's something that you can join. My books are open, so if you want to slide into that, definitely slide my way, book your consultation, and we can get started. But I really want you to be able to build that relationship within yourself, to have that safety within you so that as the world changes and power dynamics are coming into more of the conversation, you still have a safe space within yourself. And in regards to imposter syndrome and social anxiety, I want you to be very mindful of your thoughts, of practicing mindfulness with yourself, and also strengthening your boundaries with yourself, of getting clear of what mentality you are willing to entertain, because with the experience of anxiety, it can be very overwhelming. It can cause you to stop moving altogether and be just not a fun experience at all. Being anxious is just not, it's never the vibe. It never will be the vibe. It never was the vibe. And in experiencing anxiety, I want you to be able to get clear on, okay, when I'm anxious, this is what I'm going to do. And that ties into that care routine that I spoke about earlier. And in regards to that uncertainty and that instability, and again, still that social anxiety and imposter syndrome, I want you to take up the space. I want you to take up the space, especially in regards to that imposter syndrome of you feel like you don't deserve it. Take up the space. I want you to be able to alter your mentality around the thing and be able to say, okay, I don't feel like I'm qualified, but what if you are? What ways are you qualified? What are even the qualifications for this thing? You can also ask the other party, what do you see in me? You know, sometimes you need that other voice to say the things so you can really get that clarity within yourself. And whatever is said, trust that. Not only trusting yourself, but trusting other people when they say what they're saying, because there's always some level of truth in that, especially if you're asking for honesty. So allow that to happen. So I did already talk about strengthening your boundaries, but I really want you to get clear on what you want from yourself and from others, because for you to get whatever it is that you're looking for, you need that clarity to be able to know that when you do get what you're looking for, you know that this is exactly what you're looking for. So I want you to work on those things, but I do also want to point out some of the months to note for this year. We do have a little bit of a hint of, okay, yep, this is cute in January. I'm not too mad at her. January is going to be a universal 9 month / is a universal 9 month, and the relationship between 9, 6, and 8, because we were in a universal 8 year, is one that brings not only a power, which I've said for a lot of these numbers because 8 is so powerful, it's very intense, but it also puts an emphasis on creativity and expression. So this is a month that you might find yourself being a little bit more expressive, a little bit more out there, but also feeling like the need to take up that space. So I encourage you to do that. Now, the big months that I want you to pay attention to are March, April, May, September, and October. March, because that is going to be a universal 2 month, and the relationality between 2, 4, and 8 is one that highlights specifically multiples of 2 times 2 equals 4, and then 2 times 4 equals 8. So that building of emotional integrity is very much a highlighted thing, but also rather not 2 and 4, I'm sorry, 2 and 6, 2, 6, and 8 highlight that emotional embodiment and that emotional regulation. So it puts an emphasis on your feelings and the things that you need to feel good. So I want you to pay attention to those things and also really work on building up that space for yourself. I also want you to set your boundaries and really enforce them very intentionally. I know it can sometimes be uncomfortable, but I want you to do it. We also have, let's see what else is in there. We also have April and May. So April being that 3 is half of 6, and I really do like that blend. And 2 being 2 in regards to March, because I do know I said 2, 4, 8. I mean 2, 6, and 8 in regards to 2 and 6 have a emphasis on nurturance and also feeling good, desiring a good feeling. So that's a month where you can see yourself might being a little bit more indulgent. So I really want you to work on those boundaries because of that. Moving back to April, we have that 3 energy, 3 being ruled by Mars, Jupiter, and Venus. So very creative, very expressive. And with that being the case of there being that similarity in rulership in regards to Jupiter and Venus between 3 and 6, there's that very large emphasis on overindulgence. Overindulgence is a very, very big theme for you this year. So I really want you to work on those boundaries, and also that regulation and also communication with yourself, so you know when enough is enough and when you're doing too much in regards to things that can harm you in the long run. So working on that relationship with those things. This can also be a month that highlights emphasis on social spaces because of 3's relationship with social spaces. Now moving into May, we have that universal 4. And I do really like that. And that 4 with that 6 highlights a relationality because of the reflection between 4 and 6. So this puts an emphasis on your dreams for this month, puts an emphasis on also your spiritual relationship, the spiritual powers that you believe in, your faith, and trusting the process, because 4 is also half of 8. So there's that relationality there. I do really like that for you. I would also like to point out July, because July is going to be Universal 6 month. So this is more in your natural energy. And I'm not too mad at it. I will say that because it's during the summertime, it might not feel like it's the most fun for you, because that sun energy can be very overwhelming to the number 6 and not feel like there's so much enjoyment, because it's summer, we're sweating. It's not that enjoyable unless there's, okay, we're in the water, we're in the shade, there's a breeze, very specific things. So I would throw July in there just because it's the same number as the number 6. So I do like that. But there's more emphasis on September and October. September is going to be that Universal 8 month, which I really, really like because of the relationality between that 6 and that 8. So you can see a lot of impacts to money, to that physical space, to your material gain, the tangible things, the things that you can touch and see, and really sense very clearly that, oh yes, I'm holding this in my hand right now and I can touch it and I can interact with it. That's an emphasis for September. And then October, we get a little bit more of an emphasis around those 9 themes, and 8 and 6 and 8 together, because October is going to be Universal 9 month. So we have a little bit of a similarity between what's going to be happening in January for you. And this brings up not only that creativity and that passion, but it also brings up a level of anxiety and uncertainty as well. It's something I would like to throw in there, just because 9 and 6 together, though they do work really well together, they can create an energy that is very in so much movement, can cause the psychological aspects to feel uncertain and unaware and just frazzled in a way. So I really want you to also working on your boundaries, working on that emotional regulation, so that you're able to maintain your sanity and also the peace of mind that you deserve. So yeah, I also like December in there as well. In there is a cute month. It's going to be a Universal 2 month, which we've already talked about in regards to March. So still similar themes. It'll just be in the lot later in the month. But if you do want to understand more about how these numbers will impact you personally, especially if you do have these personal numbers in that psychic destiny name or personal year, I would highly recommend booking yourself a reading so you can understand more in depth of how these numbers will play out for you, because they are playing out regardless of if you're paying attention to them or not. I would rather you be prepared, and I feel like you'd want to be prepared. So if that's something that you're interested, slide my way and share this with somebody who has a number 6 in their numbers, or even wants to learn more about numbers in general, or you just found this interesting and you wanted to share it with somebody. So thank you so much for listening. Share this, and also follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Numbers with Jacari, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.